Salam. So, another earthquake hit. One is on one side of the world, it usually be one on the other side of the world, and there's after effects, aftershocks, things in that. It's just surprising, but not really, because it's been happening in maybe every, like very, not every, but very randomly. There was like one, I think when I first had moved to the islands, and then one I had moved to Cali. I'm a Jersey brother for sure. And when I was out there, I never felt it. But every time I leave, there's one. It's randomly every. You know what I mean? And this thing hasn't been normal in my lifetime, nor in my, generational with earthquakes going on. So I said last video, like yo, it's gonna be earthquakes. You know what I mean? Now some wildfires in Canada. Let's check out some of this. There's also a aftershock advisory within 24 hours.
And she was saying she felt a pretty strong jolt. It was almost like a car crash, she said. And that's typically what you'll get right near the epicenter of the quake. And then you get kind of more general shaking as you head farther outside of that epicenter. But that shaking was felt across a pretty good swath of northern New Jersey, parts of New York City, western Long Island, lower Hudson Valley, into southwestern parts of Connecticut. No, it wasn't right near one of the major faults. The Ramapo fault is that big one that created actually that more significant earthquake back in April of 2024. That was the 4.8. That was the largest earthquake, one of the largest earthquakes in New Jersey history. This one was kind of between fault lines. And
there was one last April. Check that out. I think that was right around that eclipse. I didn't even hear about that.
Again, to give you perspective on the magnitude, it was minor. It was felt, but probably no damage created by this. About 100,000 earthquakes of these magnitude occur per year on Earth. It's the energy equivalent of about 1,000 pounds of explosives. But again, that 3.0 magnitude earthquake center near Hasbrook Heights was just before 10:19 this evening. We'll send it back over to you guys. We'll have that full AccuWeather forecast coming up a little bit later in the half hour.
All right, Jeff. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Jeff. All right, Lindsay Tuckman continues our coverage from the newsroom with reaction. Lindsay.
Yeah, I actually just spoke to someone on the Upper West Side who said it felt like a rumbling. So it is definitely being felt by people in the city. And maybe you felt the quake or are just now learning about it. It still is fascinating to hear. And experts are saying, indeed, a 3.0 magnitude earthquake is not considered significant, but they are relatively rare. Once again, this quake happened just before 10:30 p.m. with the epicenter in Hasbrook Heights.
They're not rare if they starting to happen within the new millennium of the 21st century. This is wild, though. Definitely interesting, but
New Jersey. An analyst from the United States Geological Survey tells ABC News that
Hasbrook Heights, that's wild. That's wild crazy. So it's a little ways from the hub, but it ain't too far. Oh, they got Teterboro. Wow, I used to work right across the street from Teterboro.
it is likely people may have felt it subtly.
At 10:23.
Or maybe they saw a light fixture swinging but didn't know why. And it's unlikely there would be any major damage from a 3.0 tremor. But you'll recall back in April of 2024, there was a big quake also centered in New Jersey that was actually the strongest quake in the greater New York City metro area since 1884. And that one was felt by a significant amount of people.
That was in Jersey too? Because, like the way Jersey is,
As for tonight, though, the New York City Office of Emergency Management did share a post on X saying it is investigating tonight's incident and is telling New Yorkers to call 911 for any life-threatening emergencies or 311 for damage reports. But again, as of now, we have not heard of any injuries or damage. A 3.0 is not major, but still, folks who felt the tremor in Hasbrook Heights are reacting.
Around 10:15, 10:20, I'm sitting in my living room and the whole house shook.
I thought a car drove into our driveway, into the parked car.
That's what you thought? That's what you thought, mama?
Cars in the driveway.
Yeah, this felt different, right?
A lot different. Last time was more shaky. This was an explosion sound that sounded like something hit the house.
So it's kind of like a novelty, right? Again, experts say 3.0 is not considered major or significant, but on the East Coast, an area where we don't get a lot of earthquakes, it is unusual.
That definitely is. That is some weird stuff right there. Word is bomb. We're supposed to get hurricanes and nor'easters.
Is a potential of aftershocks, of course, but often those are even weaker than the first earthquake, and anything smaller than a 3.0 magnitude often isn't felt at all, as we also just heard from Jeff. We are expecting to continue to hear more from people in the tri-state area about what they felt, as well as from officials that are reacting to the Saturday night shakes. Live in the newsroom, I'm Lindsay Tuckman. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Lindsay, thank you so much. And as Lindsay just said, we are still learning more about the moment that shook northern New Jersey. Stay with Eyewitness News on air and at ABC7NY for the latest development.
That's wild right there, son. I'm telling you, it's going down out here. There's a lot of spiritual isms going on, you heard? It's definitely a time to be alive, boy. And that's weird. That's hella weird. You feel me? Like, it just was the tsunami watch. Just was tsunami watch. You know, and everybody know in Revelations they always got, you know, talking about.
My name's Cameron Salo. I'm Dylan Salo, and we're currently attending NLC Idaho campus.
It's definitely the talk of the town. Everybody's up now. Earlier, they were waking up and asking each other if they felt it. A lot of them here did. Also in Woodridge, this is not too far from Teterboro Airport. The epicenter is here in Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey. It's a 3.0 magnitude that struck at 10:19 last night. Bergen County Sheriff's Office confirmed overnight that there were no reports of damage or injuries, but it was still a surprise for many. In fact, I spoke with a man named Paul who was also sleeping, just like another woman I spoke with earlier this morning.
I was sleeping and I got shooken up out of the bed. And it was a really loud noise. And I thought it was the people downstairs who been shutting their garage door. And when I woke up, I put the news on and I found out that it was an earthquake.
We were informing a lot of people here. People also felt it in Harlem, Westchester, the Bronx, and of course, New York City. Mayor Eric Adams saying that they surveyed didn't get any reports of damage or injuries. There will be aftershocks, experts expect, but you will likely not feel it because the initial earthquake was just a 3.0. Reporting live in Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey, Shantae Lands, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
So good to see no damage, nobody hurt. Thank you so much, Shantae.
Word up. Thank you so much, Shantae. Well, that's going to be a good interview good little whoop for later. But yeah, you see right here, I want to show some information on some hadiths. You heard? And hadiths is sayings and whatnot of the prophet, allegedly. Where's my... Why scholars are warning about August 2025 monsoon linked to hadith. Let's check this out real quick before we get up out of here, all right? Stick with me. I know my relatives is the ones that's watching it, and I love y'all. You heard? Shout out to Honey B. You heard? Shout out to my good peoples.
Will truly witness with our own eyes, a sign that is continuously increasing every moment, a sign that we never really paid attention to, that we never truly noticed. But now it's happening, and we are seeing it unfold exactly.
Assalamu alaikum salam. I'm making a video on a hadith right now. Hold on, don't hang up, okay, boo-boo?
Point by point, as it was described in hadith, and that is what makes it so terrifying. And while we've heard many hadiths about rain, the one hadith I will tell you is just, I can't describe in words. What's mentioned in the hadith about rain is exactly what we are seeing right now. And that is what is so scary. But hadith also tells how bad it will get from this point. So what?
Hadiths are supposed to be sayings from the prophet. Things have been passed down. It's not the Quran. It's more so passed down, such as the Bible was. The Quran is pure, but hadiths, they can be changed and picked and choose. But within the hadiths, we definitely have symbols and wisdom out of that. You can't just throw out the baby with the bathwater, so to speak.
What's happening is that in the United States, in many areas, rainfall has increased by 30%. And this is a report from the US Global Change Research Program that rainfall has increased by 31% in the Northeast and 16% in the Midwest. And the way this rain is happening now is not like before, where rain would come down slowly and gradually. No, now it comes in extreme bursts. It pours all at once. And this change is happening in so many places, like New York, where the amount of rainfall is increasing every single year. If you had one chance to say something to the Prophet, just one moment to speak from your heart, what would you say? I asked myself that, and I think I'd say, Ya Rasulullah, I wasn't with you, but I wrote something so we could feel close to you. I wrote this book, 100 Stories of the Prophet's Trials, to help us remember the man who carried this ummah on his back, even when his heart was breaking. It's on Amazon and on our website too. Now let me tell you the most shocking thing, the one that I personally found very disturbing. But before that, let me share with you the hadith. The hadith is reported by Abu Huraira radiallahu ta'ala an, and the Prophet
Abu Huraira, shing. Sahaba.
Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam said, the hour will not come until there will be rain which will destroy everything except tents.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete...
Now look at this. I'll read this hadith for you again so you can feel.
I did see a house floating in that Texas rain thing, and the whole house was like floating like it was a Lego block.
The depth of it. The hour will not come until there has been rain which will destroy everything except tents. Now I want you to look at the recent video from Texas.
Oh wow.
The one where a flash flood hit. I want you to see what's happening in that footage. Look at the level of destruction that flood brought, the damage it caused, how entire villages, entire towns were wiped out.
I know he ain't just say villages. It's not funny, but you just said villages.
Venturing out after violent tornadoes and severe thunderstorms ripped through the United States. The trail of destruction is seemingly endless. Trees uprooted, buildings collapsed, roofs torn off, and homes and businesses destroyed. From Missouri to Mississippi, Louisiana to Tennessee, and on to Oklahoma and Kansas, hundreds of thousands have been left without power and shelter. A total of 6 U.S. states were affected by the extreme weather. In some places, wind gusts of up to 130 kilometers per hour were reported.
Authorities say washed out roads have made reaching stranded survivors and delivering supplies more difficult. Some nearby towns have been evacuated as rain continued to fall on a region that had been parched by drought. The hilly terrain made flash floods more likely.
Search parties scour Texas hill country adjacent to the Guadalupe River that breached its banks so catastrophically in the early hours of the 4th of July. Authorities say there is no cap to the number of missing because they just don't know how many were camping at this popular vacation destination.
We're running into a lot of technical challenges with terrain, with water, even potentially, with weather.
Questions remain as to why more wasn't done to ensure that those in the floodplain had evacuated before the wall of water approached.
And humans had this illusion that we had developed such advanced technology that
see that house in the middle of the street right there?
We had progressed so far that we had the power to protect ourselves. But when Allah decides to
that's the same arrogance that Nimrod had, it's the same arrogance that Fir'aun had, it's the same arrogance that Heraclius had, Constantine, the bloodlines of England, Trump. You know what I'm saying? It's that arrogance, that blind arrogance. People forget, they fail to realize that we are not even a speck of dust on a bubble on the cosmic soup of creation, and how arrogant niggas be walking around. I'm real humble. I'm tall. I'm damn near 6'4". People always be like, well, if I was your size, I'd be around bullying niggas and rob. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Whoop, whoop, this did that, doop, doop. Maybe that's why Allah ain't make you 6'4". You feel me? My arms is big to hug the world. But yeah, you feel me? Like, oh man, you gotta be humble. You gotta stay in that book, and stay shielded. Know when the time to turn up. You are, but this is it's like a movie. It's like a movie. All eyes on us.
Show his power, then all of human advancement becomes useless and helpless. And here, what the hadith is telling us is that there will be a type of rain that will destroy dwellings, your homes, your places of shelter, and until such rain comes, the hour will not come. So this hadith alone is enough to be deeply alarming for all of us. But what shook me even more was something I noticed personally, which I've been seeing for a while now, and that is the increase in thunder and lightning. Now let me tell you the hadith, and then you'll understand what I am saying. The Prophet ﷺ said, thunderbolts will increase as the hour approaches, until a man comes to a people and says, who among you was struck by lightning last night? And they will reply, so and so, and so and so, and so and so were struck. Now what does this mean? And wait till you hear about what will happen till 2100, end of the 21st century. It means deaths caused by lightning will become so common that they'll become part of everyday conversation. People will casually talk about who got struck.
I don't know about that, about the death part or the 2100 years. I haven't heard that hadith. Gotta be careful with these peoples now. They have to pull anything out the hat on these hadiths. Mind you, when people try to stir you or deter you away from the Quran, they will always use something crazy from hadiths. But not to say there's no wisdom in there, but that hadiths is not the Quran. Also, my cousin got struck by lightning. He lit up green. Auntie said, my cousin Black. My other cousin, Sheik, was good, son. He got struck by lightning and he lit up purple. Okay, he just went to sleep. Guess think he might have been a little, tipsy on the porch. Popped by lightning. It knocked him out. He went to sleep. I myself have been struck by lightning. I really can't remember much, but that might be a video for next time. Okay. But that's crazy, right? 3 people, 1 family. 3 different occasions. We all survived though.
As if it's just a normal thing. And I personally have started feeling this now. Lightning has increased so much and it's become extremely aggressive. And when I researched why this is happening, I found out something that shocked me. Lightning is increasing because, and here's the shocking part, I said I will tell you, for every 1 degree Celsius rise in global temperature, lightning increases by 12%. But the most shocking part is this. If the earth continues warming at the predicted rate, lightning strikes will increase by 50% by the end of this century.
That's crazy, because they said in the end, the sun will feel like it is 10 feet above us. Global warming or whatnot, I'm not sure. Allahu Alam. But can we fact check that? Like, is that a fact? When it's hotter, more electricity? I don't know, more energy in the air?
50%. Think about that. Compare it with what we already see around us. And this information is from the American Geophysical Union and other major scientific institutes. So these are credible sources. This means that thunderstorms and severe weather events will become even more intense in the next 50 years.
Residents call it the worst disaster in recent memory. Floodwaters ripped through the town of Mokwa in central Nigeria, taking many by surprise. People weren't expecting this level of torrential rain until around July or August. It brought devastation to an already struggling region.
We lost everything. The families, we don't even have anywhere again to go to. The property has gone. We lost at least 15 from this house.
Flash floods, according to Time magazine and climate attribution scientists, are expected to increase by 5 to 10% because of how violently and
I'm trying to get to the earthquakes, but this came a whole hadith video right here. You are?
Suddenly these rainstorms are now happening because the kind of rainfall that used to happen over 50 or even 100 years is now happening in just 5 or 10 years. And it's happening more frequently. Even
a lot of weird shit that's supposed to be spread out is happening more frequently. That is right, Aki. You ain't lied about that, my brother.
Even in cities where it's never used to rain. All of this is extremely alarming.
And heavy rain across Pakistan's Punjab province has caused flooding, killing at least 63 people in 24 hours. It brings the death toll in the past 3 weeks to 180. At least 500 people have been injured. The torrential rain has triggered flooding and destroyed hundreds of houses. Kamal Khaira is in Chakwal district in Punjab, where the rain is destroying dams and causing rivers to burst their banks.
When was the last time you smiled without hesitation? I meet people every day who cover their mouths when they laugh or shy away from photos.
Heavy rains are causing extensive damage and also loss of life. I'm right now in Chakwal district, which has received over 400 millimeters of rain with their crops already underwater. These people are moving their livestock to higher ground. Heavy rains have flooded the Tonsar district in southern Punjab. People living close to swollen rivers are the most vulnerable.
Floodwaters have surrounded us from all sides.
Look at the brick on that. It looked like somebody just laid brick. No mortar, no cement, just brick. Like, it looked like if you huff and puff, you could probably blow that hole down. Word is born.
Crops are completely submerged, and our houses, which are made of mud, are collapsing. We're now facing starvation. There's no food available and no help from the government.
And like I told you, thunderstorms are going to double in the next 50 years because every 1 degree rise in global temperature causes a 12% increase in lightning. And overall, rainfall has increased so much, and with it, the destruction it brings has increased as well. So obviously, we can't escape from...
Look at them tents right there. Is that not a prophecy? Look at that. They definitely wasn't having no tents like that float around in the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Look at that. The roofs look like tents.
From this situation is here and it's real. But what does a Muslim do? We must fix our actions.
Shout out to Indonesia. I see them topis.
We must protect ourselves by doing our morning and evening adhkar. Because when Allah becomes angry, He shows His power, and His power manifests in the form of earthquakes, in floods, in destructive rain. And the very things that people saw as blessings can become punishments when Allah decides. Now let me tell you another hadith, one that really shocked me, that rain will become a curse. There will come a time when people will see rain as fire. Now how can rain be fire? Some scholars interpret
acid rain, pollution from industrious America and westernized or so-called modern countries. This rain really be burning. You ever been in the rain and start to burn your eye a little bit and you ain't even, you know what I mean, come out from the gym being, you know what I mean, salty?
Interpret this to mean acid rain or radiation or polluted water. But mostly it's interpreted that the kind of destruction that rain brings will be like the way fire spreads. Just like how flash floods suddenly burst and destroy everything in their path. That's how rain will spread destruction.
No, Aki. They're not they definitely ain't talking about, nah, bro. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. What kind of all right.
Like fire.
For now, the rain has eased, but swathes of northeastern Queensland are underwater, with hundreds of properties submerged. 2 metres of rain fell earlier this week, breaking multiple records in the region, and authorities say more is coming.
We remain prepared for the ongoing prospect of more rain and the likelihood of more flooding, both flash flooding and riverine flooding.
Scientists say it's the result of a multi-year La Niña weather event. Cooler surface temperatures in the Central Pacific bring wetter weather to this part of Australia. Huge swathes of the mid-north coast of New South Wales are underwater. Up to 16,000 people are stranded in these regional communities, with roads submerged and towns cut off.
I knew the rain was coming, but I didn't think I'd, get this flooded. Like, I thought, it'd just be really wet. But yeah, no, it's not what I was expecting.
The average of 4 months of rain has fallen over 2 days in some areas, and more heavy rain is expected to fall in some isolated regions over coming days.
There is a verse in the Quran. If the people of the towns had believed and had taqwa, we would have opened for them blessings from the heavens and the earth. Here, blessing from the heavens is most likely referring to rain. And this verse tells us that rain...
Oh, you see how they, you could play with these, how, Well, that wasn't a hadith, but you know what I mean? Like, it goes deep, but they say that the knowledge of the Quran is so vast, we're not even a drop of water within the ocean of it.
Rain is directly linked to obedience to Allah. So if rain becomes this destructive, if it starts bringing devastation, then it means our sins have increased so much that we've turned Allah's mercy into punishment. Now let me share some more facts with you, data that will completely shock you. Rainfall intensity has increased by 15% since 1970. This is from Climate Central's report. And according to them, the way we are accelerating forward, many places that are currently habitable will no longer be livable.
South Korean restaurant owner No Hyun-ho cleaning up what is left of his business after it was hit by floodwaters and a landslide that completely buried one building.
Boulders the size of houses began tumbling down. There was no time for anyone to come out and assess the situation or try to respond.
The 5-day downpour saw some of the heaviest rains ever recorded in South Korea. In Gapyeong, the army is focusing on the cleanup while rescue teams search for the missing.
This is the first time we have experienced something on this scale.
The water cycle is already speeding up. Hotter air holds 70% more water per 1 degree Celsius rise in temperature, which means more evaporation, more clouds, and more extreme downpours. And that's exactly what we are seeing. Rain is becoming more intense and more frequent. So
I ain't gonna lie, I was tripping when San Diego was flooded. And then they had the whole downtown flooded, the homeless was flooded, the tents was flooded. It was crazy.
This cycle continues, it will get
a lot of rain, especially for Southern California last year, or was that earlier this year?
Even worse. And flash floods, according to scientists, will increase by 5 to 10% just because of how fast rain bursts down during storms. The kind of rainfall that used to take 50 or 100 years to happen now happens every few years and in places where it never used to rain. All of this is deeply alarming.
Our Lady has a place for you in her heart. Registrations are already open. And I'm keeping up.
Hong Kong has issued its highest tropical cyclone warning as Typhoon Wipa approaches. Winds of more than 118 kilometers per hour are expected to hit the city, which is already being pounded by heavy rain. Residents have been told to stay indoors and hundreds of flights have been cancelled.
Further, typhoon has already displaced 200 people in the government-run temporary shelters, and also we received 200 reports of the fallen trees. We are expecting the typhoon is moving out of the Hong Kong area, so we will see what is the real impact to the communities.
And like I told you, in the next 50 years, thunderstorms will double. Because with every 1 degree rise in global temperature, lightning increases by 12%. And the way rainfall has increased, the kind of destruction it brings, this is terrifying for people. But the truth is, we cannot escape from this. So what does a believer see in this? A believer sees that the only way out is to return to Allah. We must fix our actions. We must do our afkar morning and evening consistently. Because when Allah becomes
some nice dhikr beads right there.
Becomes angry, He shows His power in ways that make all human power seem meaningless. And things that people saw as blessings, like water, like rain, Allah can turn them into punishment if He wills. Someone asked me, if the Prophet ﷺ was in front of you right now, what would you say to him about this book? And I said, Ya Rasulullah, I wasn't there when they threw stones at you. I wasn't there when you lost the ones you loved. I wasn't there when you...
I thought it was going to be more about the earthquakes, but y'all heard him say about these, prophecies, these hadiths, another sort. Let's see what they...
The fourth, fifth, and the sixth sign is what? The earthquakes. Remember the earthquakes? When the earth is going to quake, it's quake. We don't know what kind of Richter scale this would be. It's going to destroy everything. There's going to be earthquake in the east, to the west, and in the center. But nothing much is mentioned about these earthquakes. And exactly, we don't know when this will happen. Smoke. Then watch out, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Dukhan, or the day when there is going to be a clear smoke that's going to cover all people. This is going to be a tremendous punishment. And then the sun will rise from the west. Nobody's believer anymore, right? But they can still do tawbah, can they not? the door of Tawbah is going to close. And then the very unclear thing will happen. There's going to be a beast. We will bring out to them a beast from the earth. That he will speak to the people. They don't believe in our signs. The